A very good afternoon to you. Welcome to the West Ham Voice on Friday lunchtime. I hope you're all doing well. Well, we've got an important game coming up this weekend, haven't we? We go to Goodison Park on Saturday afternoon in a game kind of much anticipated by both sets of fans, but for quite a few different reasons, I dare say. It's a chance for away fans to say farewell to another iconic stadium, Goodison Park. And it ties in with the first game for David Moyes in charge of his new team, his old new team against his old team. It's going to be an interesting scenario to see how David Moyes' old squad fares against the squad that he's inherited at Everton. And of course, there's a lot hanging on bragging rights, where fans from both sides want to see their team finish above the other in the league. Now, we currently sit one place behind Everton in the league, but on the same number of points, with only goal difference dividing the two teams at this moment in time. We've won more games so far this season. We've got 9 games in the league to Everton's 7, but we've drawn and lost more games, hence the balance of points. So for West Ham fans, there is the fear that we will finish below Everton in the league, which might somehow give, I don't know, the Moyes in brigade the psychological advantage over those who wanted Moyes out. I don't know. You tell me. I don't get that. And frankly, I personally don't really care who finishes above who in this league. Of course, I want us to go out there and beat Everton on Saturday. But I don't see this season being a gauge for either sides of the Moyes conundrum, bragging and trying to get the upper hand. For me, it's all about next season. That's going to be interesting when both managers or both head coaches, whatever you want to call them, will have more of their players available after a summer transfer window, and so that they'll have their respective teams being given a full season to demonstrate what Potter and what Moyes can do with the teams available to them. That will be the measure for me next season. But even then, next season, I actually kind of expect David Moyes to do rather well at Everton. Under Moyes next season, I can see them pushing hard to finish in the top half of the league and perhaps, maybe, pushing for a European spot. Sounds far-fetched? I'm not so sure. Because David Moyes has got a proven track record, both at Everton and, of course, at West Ham, to suggest that indeed could be possible. Not only a top half finish, but maybe pushing for a European spot. How ironic would it be if David Moyes achieved that with Everton in the first season at their new stadium? Still, this is in no way to suggest that it was wrong for us to part ways with Moyes at West Ham. We all accept that it was time for him to move on. Now, what will be interesting to see is how Moyes gets that success, if indeed it happens at all. What style of football is David Moyes going to deliver from next season onwards? Many believe he will revert back to type and adopt a low block system. Excuse me. Let me just check my mic. I just knocked it. Yeah, that's okay. Many believe that he will adopt same system as he had at West Ham, a sort of a low block system, which, of course, many fans at West Ham became frustrated with. So it's going to be interesting to see how things develop there and how Everton fans themselves will react to David Moyes should he bring them some level of success, but at the price of playing the low block. Still, we've got more pressing things to worry about than what happens with David Moyes next season or any season thereafter. And of course, that pressing concern is all about what happens at Goodison Park from 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Now, Moyes has got a few selection problems. He could be without 5 key players, or I think he is without 5 key players for this clash against West Ham. Aurel Mangala, Armando Broja, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Dwight McNeil, and Ilman Ndiaye all miss this game through to injury. But that doesn't mean Everton are going to be weakened. Since his return to the club, Moyes has gotten some impressive results in the 10 games that he's been in charge of. He's won 4 of those games, beating the likes of Spurs, Crystal Palace in the Premier League, and Leicester, etc. And he's lost only 2 against Aston Villa and Bournemouth. But typical of David Moyes, he's ground out some decent draws against the likes of Liverpool, Brentford, Wolves, and Man United. So just like Potter at West Ham, what Moyes has done is he's tried to stabilise the team. He's got them playing again, having scored 16 goals and conceded only 10 in the 10 games that he's been in charge of. So they are dangerous in attack, but they can be got at in defence. Look, with the likes of James Tarkowski and Jared Braithwaite in defence, they do okay. But as I've said, their defence is a bit leaky. Now, their midfield is probably not much better. It's certainly no better than ours. In fact, their entire midfield in the Premier League has only brought up 4 goals this season. And with the likes of Doucouré, Mangala, who's injured, and Carlos Alvarez being the only goal scorers in midfield. But it's their strike force that we've got to look out for, with Beto having netted 6 goals so far this season, and he's doing pretty good up front. So they've got a danger, despite the fact that they've got a number of players out injured. They do have creative players, and they will be. What Moyes will do with his team tomorrow, he's going to make them hard to beat. And it's not going to necessarily be pretty football. It's going to be pretty one-dimensional, and there's going to be an awful lot of reliance on getting that ball to Beto. He's strong. He's a half-decent striker, or certainly since Moyes has arrived, he's been scoring a decent amount of goals. So he's going to be their main target. He's their equivalent to what David Moyes used Antonio at West Ham at. So he's going to be a target man. They're going to get that ball directly to him. They'll probably bypass an awful lot of their midfield in order to get that ball straight up there and for Beto to try and do his business. So it all now relies on how we're going to set ourselves up against that kind of attacking display. Now, of course, for us, apart from Crescencio Somerville, all our players are back in training. And possibly all available for selection. And it's going to be quite interesting to see whether Nicholas Fulkrug actually takes any part in this game at all. Now, I know there's talk about him maybe not being ready till after the international break, etc. But I just wonder, he's been back training regularly for the past couple of weeks. He didn't make the game against Newcastle on Monday, not even on the bench. But I just do wonder whether he will be on the bench for this game on Saturday. Look, I expect to see some changes in the lineup. I expect to see quite possibly changes in defense, midfield, and up front. There's a possibility if we go with a back 4, there's a possibility that Potter may go for the more experienced Emerson over Scarles. Now, I know a lot of fans are going to cry out, "Oh my God, what the hell are you doing?" But I can see a logic in that, even though a lot of fans may not be happy with that. But I can see that if Potter does go with a back 4, he may select, he'll go with Todibo and Kilman with Wan-Bissaka on the right, and he may just go for that experience of Emerson on the left. Will he make changes in the middle? I don't know, to be quite honest with you. I think we'll probably go with a 4-3-3 formation, which may mean that he'll keep the same midfield of Souček, Ward-Prowse, and Alvarez. Now, again, I know what people are going to say. Well, why would he do that? There's no pace in that central midfield, etc. And I hear all that. But as a sort of a safety blanket, if he does go with the back 4, it's possible that Potter may go for a midfield 3 to accommodate, because what he's going to want to do, he's going to want Emerson and Wan-Bissaka to dart forward, which means he's going to want that security, and perhaps having a midfield 3 of those sorts of players might just be the compensation. I'm not saying that's what he will do, but there's a chance if we go with a back 4, then quite possibly he'll do that in midfield. And then, of course, I think Paqueta will come back. I think he'll be in the starting lineup. And then take your pick out of those three in the front three, who might be the central attacking player. I'm going with I'm going with Bowen, who of course has got his squad place back in England, the first squad under Tuchel for England. But I'm going with him in the middle with Kudus and Paqueta either side. Now, he could leave Scarles there. I'm not saying that he won't. I'm not saying that he will drop Scarles, but there's a chance, there's a possibility that Scarles could be dropped for this, just like I said, to have a little bit more experience in the back lineup if he goes with a back four. So there's a chance that Scarles could make it, but I've got a feeling if he goes with a back four, then you could see Scarles dropped and Emerson coming in. Of course, he could stick with a back three. But that will mean that Aaron Cresswell will undoubtedly play alongside Kilman and Todibo at the back. And then you'll have Scarles in the lineup with Scarles as a wing back on the left-hand side and Wan-Bissaka on the right-hand side. Then he's likely to drop one of the three midfielders that I mentioned. And that could be Alvarez, but it's more likely to be either Ward-Prowse or Souček being dropped out of that lineup if he stays with the back three. And then I don't think he'll change that three up front. I've said three up front. It should be more a two. Well, Paquetá really will drop deeper, and you'll have Kudus and Bowen leading the front line. So it could be like a 3-5-2 rather than the 3-4-3 that I've suggested there. So he's got options, and it's going to be interesting to see whether he does go with a four, Potter, or whether he does stick with a back three with a two wing back system. Now, many people are going to ask, well, why are you not picking Ferguson? I just don't think Ferguson is still ready. And I know a lot of people are also asking, well, what's the point of getting him on loan if he's not going to play? I think Ferguson's time will come. I'm not so sure he'll be in the starting lineup this weekend, because if you do pick Ferguson, who are you going to drop out of that lineup? You know, you could maybe drop another midfielder, put Paqueta in the middle, and then put Ferguson up front with Kudus and Bowen either side. Yeah, that's quite possible. In a back four, you could again do the same thing, drop someone like Souček or Ward-Prowse. Put Paqueta further deeper, and then again, like I said, play a four with a two up front, or with a one up front, like a 4-2-3-1 if Ferguson came in. But I just don't think Ferguson is ready to start in this game. Now, when will he be ready? One doesn't know. In all honesty, though, I've said this in a show I did the other day. I'm not so sure Ferguson is ready, and I'm not even so sure Ferguson is the right type of striker to stay at West Ham United beyond this season. But we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Bowen, of course, I do think Bowen would lead the line tomorrow. He's earned his place with his England call-up again, so well done to Thomas Tuchel for knowing a good player when he sees one. And so I'm pleased that Bowen will remain in the England squad under Tuchel. And I think he will lead the line against Everton this coming weekend. So there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to sort of consider. Let's see who's in the chat. Good afternoon to you, Obsidian. How are you, mate? I hope you're well. Good afternoon to you, Anthony. How are you? And good afternoon, Ian, as well as to Douglas as well, Andrew as well. Bowling Lounge, how are you? Thanks for the message earlier on. Dave, how are you, mate? I finally managed. Thank you, mate. Much appreciated. Goodbye to Goodison. Farewell to David Moyes. Sai, how are you? Good to see you, mate. Are you going there tomorrow? Let me know. Brian, how are you, mate? I hope you're well. Nice surprise live. Time to start Ferguson? I don't know. You tell me. I still don't honestly think he will. I kind of get why fans want to see him starting, but I just think it will be more from the bench than it will be from the starting lineup. And who would you drop to actually accommodate Ferguson? Rupert, good afternoon, mate. More time, mate. It's lunchtime. It's lunchtime. You know, working from home on a Friday. I've got an hour. I've still got about 40 minutes to go. I might just be able to get something to eat as well as doing this show. I hope you're well. Michael, afternoon, Stel. Moyes is the past, Potter is the future. Support the man here and now. Absolutely agree. We've got to. And I hope the away fans are good. The away fans will definitely get behind Potter, will get behind the team, no matter what formation, no matter what team he selects, etc. We always have a good support. And who knows, a smash and grab maybe last season was particularly good when we got 2 very late goals to beat them 3-1. Our record there overall isn't too bad, but over the majority of games against Everton, they've won the vast majority of them. I think it's going to be a 2-1 tomorrow. I forgot to give my prediction. I think it's not going to be a high-scoring game, for famous last words, but I think we will win that game 2-1. Toha, good afternoon. I hope you're well. Dave, Moyes at Everton was our bogey team, if you remember. They were indeed, but time to break that duck. John, morning to you from Trinidad, mate. Hit the like button. Thank you very much. Look, if you're new to the channel or if you watched the channel before but yet to become a subscriber, please do subscribe. And if you enjoy the content, as John has recommended there, please do hit the like button. Afternoon to you as well, Si. Paul, good afternoon. What is going on with Emerson, with West Ham? I don't know. It's all gone a little bit quiet there. So we'll try and find out and update you on that probably in the month. Oh, no, there won't be a Monday show because I'm away. I'm going to Tenerife on Sunday. So there won't be a Monday night show. Darren, afternoon, mate. I hope you're well. Thank you for joining. Anthony, don't forget, thank you very much. And subscribe. Stephen, good afternoon, mate. I hope you're well. Dave, admin slacking, sackable. There's no admin on here. Look at them. They're all working. Poor them. Rupert. Oh, by the way, don't let Wiggy eat all the buffet before you get to Liverpool, as I'm expecting substantial food left for me. I'm skipping breakfast. Don't skip breakfast. There won't be any left. We'll be traveling up there in style. The Prosecco will be out. All the breakfast stuff will be out. But we'll see you at Liverpool, and you can buy us a drink when we get there. Sharky, afternoon to you, mate. I hope you're well. And hello to everyone in the chat. Good afternoon, Jason. How are you? Thank you for joining, mate. Josh, good afternoon. Potter, I hope you're doing well and feeling positive today. Always enjoy it. Thank you very much, Josh. Really appreciated. GP, how are you? And Matt, how are you as well? Who else have we got here? Michael, did we loan Ferguson to keep Guilherme company? Well, I've got a feeling that it's going to be interesting what lineup there's going to be tomorrow. And it's also going to be interesting to see what bench we have. Now, as I've said earlier on, my gut feeling tells me we could go with a 4-3-3 and it could be Emerson that plays on the left. No disrespect to Scarles. He's done nothing wrong, but I think just for that security in terms of experience, it's possible Emerson will get a shout if it's a back four. And then you look at the bench and then you start looking at what's available. The only player at the moment, if you look on the right-hand side, the only players at the moment who are still injured are, of course, Antonio and Somerville. I did a show earlier this week about Somerville. If you want to know an update on how he's progressing, do watch that. Do watch that video. Now, I know we've had quite a few academy players on the bench when we had quite a few injured players, but now the likes of Lewis Orford and Caelan Casey, etc., are not going to get a look in when we have the senior players coming back. I think that makes sense as well. I think if Fulkrug is available for selection, I think he'll be named on the bench over Danny Ings. And then it's a question of Guilherme. You've just mentioned Guilherme there. I think Guilherme will still be on the bench tomorrow. I mean, it's quite easy to drop Guilherme for Irving or Rodriguez or even Ings. But I think if Fulkrug is available, Ferguson and Fulkrug will be the subs striker wise. And I think Guilherme will keep his place on the. We may get to see Guilherme be used at some stage. I know fans are all screaming out, start Ferguson, play etc. But you look at that line, look at that 11 lineup. If you play Ferguson, who are you dropping out of that lineup? I think at this moment in time, many people it would be Goodison, Souček, and you put Guilherme and Ferguson in. For me, I think that would be a mistake. I know Souček. I know. Kudus has not been having a great time of it, but his endeavour is there at the moment. He's been working really, really hard for the team, and I know he's not scored a goal. I know he's not made a goal. He's not scored for quite a while, etc. But he's putting the effort in. He's putting the mileage in, and I think that's why Potter is looking at him and going, "I'm sticking with you because you are giving me something. You're giving me the graft that maybe he wasn't giving earlier on in the season." So that's why I'd keep Goodison. And I know there's a big debate about Souček and why not just drop Souček for another attacking player, etc. And I get that. There's a good shout for that. But I think if we go for a 3 at the back and then we play maybe a 4 or a 5 in the middle, it could be a choice of either Ward-Prowse or Souček coming out of the team in order to accommodate other players. But again, even with that, I'm still not picking Ferguson and I'm still not picking Guilherme in the starting lineup. Not that I don't think they're no good, etc. I just think Potter is thinking, I've got to put what I believe the strongest team is out there. Hence, Guilherme and Ferguson being on the bench. They're good options to come off the bench, aren't they, if we need that pace? So I know people are saying it, Michael, and you're quite right to ask the question. But I'm really not convinced that Ferguson is the right player for West Ham going forward. Simon, Ferguson is lacking confidence. There's that as well. There you go. And I just don't think he looks fully fit, to be honest with you. Josh, sorry, mate. I don't know why I called you Potter. Okay, did wonder. Dallas, how are you, mate? I hope you're well. Good afternoon to you as well. Wan-Bissaka, Todibo, Kilman, Scarles, Ward-Prowse, Alvarez, Paqueta, Bowen, Kudus, and Ferguson. So you've got almost what I'm thinking, but I just don't think Ferguson will start. I really don't. I usually agree with you 100%, but I think he needs to be blooded. I could be wrong. Just have a feeling. I think he'll play. I think there's a good chance if we need to bring him on, I think he'll get game time on Saturday. I think Fulkrug may well get game time. They're good options to have, aren't they? I don't mean, get game time if we're chasing the game. Let's hope that doesn't happen, but they're good options to have. Michael, no Wan-Bissaka in England's squad. What does he need to do? I agree. I think he deserves to have been given a chance in the England squad. It's a shame, really, but I think he just keeps cracking on, doing what he does, and hopefully Tuchel will see that and then start selecting him in the future. Thank you for caressing the like button, Billy Bob. Much appreciated, mate. Matt, when I saw Bowen called up for England, I was shouting at the top of my lungs, yes. Pissed off my whole household this morning. Worth it, though. Absolutely. He deserves it. He's had an injury. He's come back well. He's led the line. He's captain of our team, etc. He deserves to be called in the England squad. I'm pleased. Now Tuchel's got to open his eyes a bit more and see that Wan-Bissaka could also be a good prospect for England as well. Michael, please. We have 50-year-old Walker. Darren Potter. Stel, when do players fly out for international duty? I don't know. Of course, it'll be after this weekend, I dare say. Probably most players will join the international team, their teams accordingly on Sunday or maybe Monday. Who knows? I mean, we've got quite a few players. Alvarez has been called up. Oh, let me go. I should have written them all down. But quite a number of players have been called up for international duty, which is good. Bezel, good afternoon, mate. I hope you're well from the States. Ready for the Hammers in New Jersey? Oh, yes. Good for you, mate. We're hoping that there's going to be a mini European sort of pre-season that we've decided me and mates are going to probably go out to, probably be somewhere like Austria or somewhere like that. So hopefully, but have a great time when they go out to America, mates. Simon, for me, this is a must-win. I couldn't stand it if Moyes gets one over on us. I get that. I understand that. I totally do get that. But I don't. Is it wrong not to care? I don't care in the sense of I hope we don't win. Of course, I hope we win. We do win, but I hope we win for us. It doesn't matter what Moyes does. And like I said earlier in the show, I actually think Moyes is going to do rather well with Everton next season. I think he's going to be pushing for a top half finish in the league, and who knows, might even push them to European qualification. Josiah, hello, mate. I hope you're well. Thank you for joining. Douglas. Brought my summer series ticket yesterday. Wow, were they on score? They don't waste time, do they? My goodness me. 0-0. I can't see that, Si. I can't. I think there'll be goals. Bezel. Cheers, Dallas. Are you going to... Good for you guys. Good luck to you guys. Matt, do you use US English or UK English? Only asking because of pronunciations. Other day I said better. You sounded like you said better. Oh, no, I'm not taking offense. I've never thought about it, to be quite honest with you. I think US slang or the way that we pronounce words sort of has come in over time, hasn't it? I used to be really good on my English. I'm not so sure anymore now. The other day I said better. You said better. Better. English, I guess. You tell me. How do I sound? Sharky, hope you continue. Thank you very much. I did put out, a message out there. I do, when you do content, you do go through doubts, especially when your views are dipping a bit, and it's been a bit alarming. But I will take careful thought about whether I continue next season. I won't just switch it all off. GP, HH is working, stalking Lanzini. Hammerette is working, stalking Lanzini. It's a crime. Dallas, maybe I'm a painter and I need a new vehicle, and this winter was slow. Maybe, I don't know what that's in relation to, but you're answering something. Darren, do you know how many hearings Paqueta will have? No, I don't know. I think there's a 3-man hearing. It starts Monday, apparently. It starts the 20th, apparently. It's going to be a 3-man board that's going to listen to it. I think they're going to convene about 3 times. I don't think Paqueta will need to go 3 times himself, if at all. Anthony, Tuchel, Bowen, and Ward-Prowse. Read a post I put up on my account. And you'll understand what I'm talking about. Obsidian, I don't care how we play tomorrow, to be honest, as long as we win. In fact, it might be funnier if we shithouse Moyes and give him a taste of. Imagine low blocking Moyes and winning. That would actually be quite funny. What else have we got here? Darren, I'm hoping Soler starts tomorrow. I know loads of fans don't like him. I do, and at least he runs forward with the ball. I'd have him and Paqueta to start in the middle. That's interesting. I mean, Soler, I've got him on the bench. Do I think he'll start? No. And I'll tell you for why, because I don't think we'll be keeping Soler next season. I think whilst we have him, we can make use of him, but I think Potter wants to get the most out of the players he wants to keep next season, which is probably why I doubt very much that Soler will start tomorrow. Peter, is this the same Everton team who are unbeaten in about 8 league games? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. They've drawn their last 3, and they've done extremely well under David Moyes. Dallas, I love Souček, but I'd drop him for. I think Paqueta will start anyway, but it's a matter of whether Souček stays in the team or not. GP, I would try Wan-Bissaka on the right front 3. His pace would open up that Everton defense. That totally, yeah, I hear that. But then who are you going to play at right back? That if you bring Soufal in or Mavropanos in, that means you're going to be losing yet another attacking player. Good option, though. Obsidian, you could drop Souček, put Goodison a 10, move Bowen right and play a strike. You could indeed. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I just don't honestly think, I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I just don't. For me, Ferguson hasn't shown anything to demonstrate that he deserves to start yet, to be honest with you. He really hasn't. Brian, I purchased my tickets to see West Ham this summer in the US. $285 per ticket. Ouch is my thought, mate. $285 a ticket. Ouch is my thought. Bloody hell, mate. Peter, don't forget the under-21s play against Leicester tonight. They do indeed. Leon, good afternoon, mate. I hope you're well. Why am I not stressed about tomorrow? Potter's ball against Moyes' ball should be interesting. You see, I know a lot of people, and not necessarily you, a lot of people are suggesting that Graham Potter has been playing Moyes-like football. Maybe for 1 or 2 games, yeah, but in context, I disagree. I'll never forget the first game against Aston Villa away in the Cup. You know, we took it to them and we took the game to our... Well, we had to defend well against Arsenal. We took it to Chelsea and we were cheated out of a result there. I don't know. Is it just me that is not seeing a Potter, a Moyes ball-like process under Potter? Potter has said, he apologized. I don't think he needed to apologize. He apologized that maybe progression is not happening as quickly as some fans want. Mate, you've halved the number of goals that we conceded on average. That's already progress to me. And in some games, he's been absolutely showing what West Ham are capable of going forward. As I kind of tried to explain in the show earlier in the week, unfortunately, one of the things that we've had, and everyone moaning about it, is we've been leaking goals for fun this season until Potter arrived. Potter, we were leaking on average 2 goals a game under Lopetegui, and we weren't any better under Moyes the season before that. And it needed fixing. Our defence absolutely needed fixing. And I'm not surprised that Potter is focused on that. I think it's right to do so. Fix the foundations before you move on to fix other things. I think he's done exactly what we needed him to do. And I'm disappointed, to be quite honest, that fans are now a little bit on Potter's back to suggest that it's a bit like Moyes ball. I don't care. We've halved the number of goals that we've conceded in the. I think Potter has been in charge for 10 games as well. We've halved the number of goals conceded against us. We've made ourselves a little bit tougher. Now, by doing that, he has had to revert to a back three with a wing back system, and I get it. That's why I'm a little bit dubious as to what he'll do tomorrow. Whether he goes with a back four. And like I said, if he goes with a back four, then I can possibly see Emerson starting in that back four just for that experience, just for that security and experience. But if he stays with a back three, with a wing back system, then I can see Scarles staying in the team and Creswell playing, etc. And then you pick your midfielders and front men accordingly. So I think it's a little unfair. I'm not having a go at you, Leon. Please don't get me wrong, but I think in general it's a little bit unfair to have to go at Potter about us playing a sort of a low block. We've needed it. I don't think it is a low block. You don't play a low block having two players up front, for example. You know, it gives us, it certainly isn't a David Moyes style low block because Moyes would never have put two up front with a back five and a midfield three, etc. You know, he would have played one up front, or a midfield four, sorry, and he would have played one up front. So I like what Potter's doing. He's demonstrating that he's getting to grips with what needs to be done at the back. He's sorting that out. And we now seem to have a good solid base there. Now, of course, what happens moving forward, the striker situation, the attacking play, etc., also needs to be worked on. I don't deny that at all. Josh, are there changes to the lineup formation you want to see again? Do I want to see a change in the formation? I want to see a change in the lineup, not necessarily in the formation. Personally, I would rather we kept a back three, personally. And then get it right in the midfield, get it right up front, etc. You know, it could be that I think I made a mistake there. I think if he goes with a back three, I think it will be a 3-5-2 formation, and I think it will be Bowen and Kudus still up front with Paqueta dropping a little bit deeper. Who he chooses over the likes of Ward-Prowse and Souček, I don't know. I think Alvarez will stay in the team because I think of the three, Alvarez is more prone to being that defensive-minded blocker, I guess. Even above and beyond Souček and Ward-Prowse. So a change in lineup, possibly. Personally, I don't think that he should change the formation. I'd rather see us go with a back three. It just keeps us more solid. And I've been talking about Kilman being exceptionally good in the middle of a back back three. So that's kind of why I'd want to keep the back three. But you tell me, would you want to see a back four? Who else have we got? Daniela, good afternoon to you. I hope you're well. Alan Kirbishley came in the store at Paddington yesterday. Did you get his signature? And did you ask him to come on the show? Peter, look into the future by I didn't get the England squad. He recalled Henderson. What on earth? John, I'm convinced with Pac-Man could try Guilherme, spelt wrong. I'm not convinced with Paqueta. He could try Guilherme. I think Paqueta will start. And I think possibly Guilherme will come on from the bench maybe at some point. Darren, still, are you having problems with your signal? You keep freezing up. Not that I can see. My apologies if I am freezing up, but I look fine. Is anyone else experiencing me freezing up? Who else we got? Douglas. Brian, I'm going to the show. Lads, you have fun over there. You enjoy it. Kent, tough game tomorrow. We are the underdogs. We are indeed. What do you think, Kent? I'm predicting a 2-1 win, but it won't be an easy one. Michael, we need something out of this game or Talkshite will be all over it, the Moyes lovers. Of course they will. Daniela, for this season will be whatever it ends up as. It's all about next season for me. Cowboys and Indians, good afternoon to you. We are expecting any changes in the lineup? I've just mentioned those, so tell me your thoughts on my predictions. 1-1, sadly. I don't know. I've got a feeling. GP, Jim White loves Moyes. They were in a punk band together in the 70s. Peter, I think Moyes has turned Everton round with a lot of help from his sidekick. He has indeed. 1-0 with a Souček win. Dallas agreed still. I don't hate Moyes, but perhaps because the pundits waste no time in remarking about how we drove Moyes out. So for that reason, it's a must win. Absolutely. Yeah, I understand that. Frog, good afternoon, mate. God, we're going to need a lot of Nurofen if we lose. It's going to be, I mean, social media is going to not, I'm glad I'm going on holiday next week because I can take a week away from it. But if we lose, social media is going to be unbearable next week. Absolutely. Who else have we got? Leon, did we force Moyes out or he left because of loss of power? I think the board did sort of, whether we think so or not. I think they heard the noise going on. I think Sullivan is a little bit reactive in that way. I remember he did that when Moyes came in the first time round to oversee West Ham after Bilic was sacked. And then many thought that perhaps Moyes should have been kept on, but fan pressure, remember all the marches, etc. We ended up getting Pellegrini because I think Sullivan thought it was the right thing to do. Get West Ham United a match winner, someone who's won something. It was the wrong thing to do, of course. Was it the right thing to do for Moyes to leave? It was right for him to leave. I think many fans will agree on that. Whether they were Moyes in or Moyes out, I think many fans would agree that it was right for David Moyes to leave West Ham United when he did. And his loss of power, of course, had a huge, how ironic that, the loss of power, over Steiden taking over transfers, and 6 months later, Steiden's gone as well. The irony, absolute irony. Michael, Paqueta has one thing going for him. It's ironic, even more ironic, because if Moyes had decided to stay, he would be back in charge of transfers now with Steiden gone. How weird. Anyway, Michael, Paqueta has one thing going for him. He has the Man City lawyer that beat the FA before. He does indeed. Kent, I hope you continue with the channel still. Enjoy. I know it's especially when you attend games as well. I enjoy yours and Wiggy's debrief after game. Thank you, John. Thank you, Kent. Really, really appreciate that. John, the better the team are doing, the better the views on the channel. But is that right? Because there's a lot of when there's a lot of negativity about, because I can't be, I will criticize when criticism is due, but because I don't fall into that negativity process, my channel suffers for it. We've got to be realistic. That's what it is, because I'm not overly negative. If we lose or play badly, people don't want to hear. I try to be as balanced as I can. Maybe I don't succeed at times. I don't know, but some fans don't want to hear a balanced approach. Peter, latest news on the 1-year contract for Walter, Fabs, and Ant-Man. No news at this Walter. Who's Fabianski, Antonio? I don't know who you mean. But no news in terms of contract increases as yet. Bill, good afternoon, mate. I hope you're well. I'm concerned for the Everton game. Moyes has a thing to prove against those fans wanting his head. I watched his reaction walking around, taking the applause. He looked a bit emotional, but who knows? He's going to want to win it. Absolutely, without a doubt. He's got an added incentive, hasn't he? Without a doubt. Joey, would you listen to offers for any of our central midfielders? Yes. Listen to offers for any players, to be quite honest with you. It's going to be interesting to see who stays. A lot of people are saying Souček is on his way to Everton. I wouldn't be at all surprised if Moyes put in a bid for Souček in the summer. Not at all surprised. Would I listen to offers for Ward-Prowse? Yes, I would. Would I listen to offers for Paqueta? If he gets through his hearing and unscathed, then possibly yes. And would I listen to offers for, who else we got there? Alvarez. Yes, I would. Yeah. I mean, Potter is going to want to bring in his own team. I don't think there's going to be wholesale changes, to be quite honest with you. I think there'll be quite a few in the summer transfer window. Of course, we've got a number of players who are leaving or should be potentially leaving at the end of their contracts. But I think one or two might be kept on. Fabianski was just mentioned. Creswell maybe could be kept on for another year as well. I think maybe the likes of Soufal, Antonio possibly will be let go. Antonio's on a high wage. and sentiment can't come into it. We know, he's been a great servant to West Ham United, but will he be kept on another year when he will hardly play? I mean, there's all this talk about him coming back at the end of the season. I personally can't see it. Would he be kept on for sentiment? I'm not so sure. Really not. Bezel, definitely hope you can. Thank you, mate. I only watch Gonzo and Gio plus Mark time to time. He's been a bit drab lately. Mark, is that from West Ham Way? Anthony, no Mavropanos, keep him away from the game. Well, Potter talked about Todibo in his press conference and saying he's getting closer to playing the full 90 minutes. Look, I think it's good man management. What are the things we complain about? We bring players back too soon from injury, and then all of a sudden they're back injured again. And that's the last thing we want. So playing Todibo for 60, 65 minutes and then replacing him is sensible, because the last thing we want is for Todibo to play near 90 minutes, have an injury because he's overstretched himself, etc., and then he's out for another month or so. That's not what we want. I like the way it's being managed. We as fans go, oh my God, what are you doing? You're bringing Mavropanos on. But I get it. Mavropanos at this moment in time is the only player available, with Soufal injured, is the only player, or until recently, is the only player available that can slot in for Todibo. So I get it. Darren, I hope Guilherme has some minutes tomorrow, hopefully more than the 5. At least he should have 20 and bundles of energy. Let's see how the game's going. That would be quite possible. Bezel, I think this summer series tickets are so expensive because good for both games on same day at the stadium. Still price. Oh, is it 2 games on the same day? Well, still expensive. Dallas. Yeah, patience is definitely needed. Even I gave Loppy until Christmas before I was calling for his head. Absolutely. We've got to give Potter some time in order to establish what he wants. He's got one player in the squad that's his, and that's Ferguson. He's inherited the rest of this squad. You've got to give him time to be able to bring players in. I think someone said in the show the other day, it's going to take quite a while to get the Moyes and the Lopetegui out of the squad, because they've been, we've had a number of years under Moyes and then Lopetegui, playing almost a similar style of football. And that's going to take time, but it's also going to take player replacements, Potter bringing in his own players before he can really, stamp his authority on this squad. Of course, he's got to be given time. Nico, good afternoon, mate. I hope you're well. I couldn't handle the season without seeing Wiggy shirts. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you very much, mate. Much appreciated. James, agree. We had to stop letting in so. Absolutely. Had to, and that, unfortunately, I did say in a show the other day, that we have an imbalanced squad. And what I mean by that is if you improve the defense, then we've got a bit of a cluster of players that aren't really helping us out in attack. Or if you strengthen the attack, then that's going to weaken the defense. What Potter has got to do in this summer transfer window is balance the squad. He's got to get a real balance of the squad. He's got to bring players in where it keeps the defense strong as well as the attack as well. He can only do that once he starts bringing players in. Dallas, actually, Potter is following paramedic life-saving techniques. You stop the bleeding eagles, leaking them. You stop the bleeding, leaking, then you start the breathing. You stop the eagles leaking, then you start breathing. Get the offense rolling. I've got that. Yeah, sort out the mid defense and then sort out the attack. Ray, good afternoon, mate. I hope you're well. I think we need to cut Potter some slack. It's slow, but I'm seeing likewise. I'm seeing progress too. Do I find some of the games enthralling? No, I didn't find the game against Newcastle great. I didn't find the game against Leicester that great, but I loved the game against Arsenal. I loved how we played against Chelsea. I loved how we played twice against Aston Villa. I think there's been more pluses for me than there have been minuses, in all honesty. Frog again. If Potter isn't going to experiment and get as much information about the squad from this pre-season, it's a wasted opportunity. I don't disagree with that, but I think what Potter is doing, and I think he's probably already got it sorted out in his head, who he's keeping and who he's not. And you're seeing that from team selections. So when you don't see Rodriguez getting picked, for example, his time has come to leave. Andy Irving as well, with the greatest of respect to him. Maybe Guilherme as well. Maybe. Who knows? We'll see what happens between now and the end of the season. Maybe Ferguson as well. I'm not convinced by Ferguson. I've not seen that mad drive for him to prove to everybody that he's an absolute starter for every game. But it may come. It may come. Any update on Amazon Spot? No, someone asked me that earlier, but I'm afraid I don't have an update, but I will try and find out for you. Josh, I'd like to see Wan-Bissaka push the wings and overlap more. I think that's what he's been doing, but he was stifled, and Newcastle did a good tactics on us on Monday night. They stopped our wing backs from going forward. We did that a lot against Arsenal and Potter's earlier games against Leicester and Newcastle. He didn't seem to try as much. I agree with you. It didn't seem to come as much, but I think Newcastle did a number on us, to be honest. Leon, didn't mean the Potter's ball as a bad thing, only his tactics against the Moyes. Fair enough. Thank you for that, mate. Peter, did Tuchel recall Henderson because he is a fan of Muppets? Daniela, if we lose, I'm off social media for a week. I'm off anyway because I'll be on holiday. Peter, dread to think how Claret and Booze will react if Everton win. Each to their own. You know, they have their style. I have my style. All the other channels have their own style as well. Dallas, I'd agree, Leon. I was speaking more to the warped outside view of us from pundits and other supporters. Tuchel is an arse. Well, let's see what he does with this England. I don't know. Is it right, a German, to manage the England team? That's for another show, I guess. Ken, 2-1 was my prediction. Goodison and Ward-Prowse free. Would be nice for Ward-Prowse to finally break that duck, wouldn't it, with a free kick? Let's scroll down. Leon. Daniela, I will still be on to remind them all of the 5s and the 4-0s under Moyes. Daniela, I think the cup win Moyes froze as manager in the way I'd have done it. What do I do now? I think the cup, you're going to have to sorry, Daniela. I didn't understand that. My sorry. Peter, brilliant analysis. Thank you very much, mate. Much appreciated. Oh, Cressy. Okay. Michael, I would rather a constructive view than a rant any day. Thank you. I'm glad that people do see this content as being valuable. And that I do appreciate that. Peter, offers for any players apart from Bowen and Scarles. Yeah, Bowen's not going anywhere, and Scarles certainly isn't. Anthony, Moyes is going to park the bus tomorrow, but look out for Beto. I bet Beto gets a goal. I just hope it's not the winning goal. That's all. Michael, if Moyes wants Souček, 30 million. I'm laughing, but why not? Darren, can see Everton being boring next season. He did the same with us. We played exciting football during COVID, then boring football. This is what I mean. You know, it's going to be really interesting if Moyes does have success with Everton next season. And what success I mean is finishing in the top 10, maybe pushing for a European place, etc. If he plays low block and boring football, it's going to be interesting to see how Everton fans react to that. Are they going to go, well, we don't care, well done? Or are they going to go, my God, it's boring, we need to get him gone? It's going to be really, really interesting to see. Lawrence, hello, fans from sunny Morocco. 10 days ago. You enjoy, Lawrence. I hope you're doing well. I'm going out to Tenerife next week to get a bit of sun as well. Obsidian. Moyes was mad to stay after the cup win, Daniela. He really didn't read the room. Could have left a hero. Yeah, I agree with that. The improvement is there. Agreeing with Darren Dallas. Who else have we got here? GP, I don't think Stel can rant. I'm certainly not classy. You ask my other half. She doesn't think I am. John, hit the like. Please do hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And if you can't subscribe, please at least hit the like button for this show. Peter, so yes, you keep freezing up on me too. I'm checking. The internet looks fine. I'm not getting any warning signs, so I do apologize if it keeps freezing. I don't know why. I can't see any reason for it, so my apologies that I'm freezing up on the screen. Daniela, I would keep Alvarez, but how about a cheeky bid for Maddison? I'm not so sure, but I don't think he is happy at White Hart Lane. He doesn't have pace though either, does he? We need someone who's a box-to-box pacey midfielder. Fly Fox, good afternoon. I wish these games in the States had a game on the West Coast. The closest game is 1,500 miles away from where I live. What a shame, mate. Bill, just said to my granddaughter, listen, Stel, Stel will talk to me. You said Bill, and she said there's a lot of Bills in this world. Bill Clark. There you go. If your granddaughter's listening, I'm talking to Bill Clark. Now she's going to be clever and go, well, there's loads of Bill Clarks in this world, Granddad. Dallas, I don't know why we never put this together before, but I have a cousin named Danielle whose maiden name was Stuart. Look at that. See? Close family knit. Obsidian. The difference with Loppy and Potter is huge. There was no improvement under Loppy, but we have already improved under Potter. Absolutely agree. Who else we got here? John. Stell, I don't know if you're cold, but you're free. See, I don't know why. I'm really, really sorry, people. I don't know why, because it seems I'm not getting anything about my Wi-Fi cutting out. I apologize for that. Bonnie, afternoon, Stell. Yours is the only channel I watch regularly. As a glass half empty West Ham fan, you keep me looking at the positives, even when times are bad, unlike other channels. Thank you for that. Sam, good afternoon, mate. I hope you're well. Frog seems to be dropping frames, but writes itself at least. VPN, maybe. Yeah, I'm going to have to check it out. My apologies, people. I do apologize if it's spoiling the watching of the show. Leon, Bonnie, I totally agree. Calm, relaxed view from Stell is what Hammers need. That's all I can do. I do have a rant every now and again, but not that often. Ken, Stell, all those games you mentioned were away games. We are playing much better away, playing from a solid base and breaking out and be clinical when chances arise. At home, onus is on us. Yeah, that's a good point, Ken. You're absolutely right. Yeah, our better games have been away from home. Dallas, I definitely agree that Ferguson thus far has looked like a deer in the headlights. Hopefully he'll take that one hit and then be off on the races. I'm waiting for that for Goodison as well. Imagine if they all start finally hitting form. Goodison scoring goals and Ferguson scoring goals, Bowen, etc. That would be wonderful, wouldn't it? Howard, good afternoon, mate. Thank you for joining. I hope you're well. Good afternoon, Chris. Yasu, indeed. Thank you. I will indeed enjoy the vacation. Going out for 5 nights, 6 days of sun. Need it. It's fucking freezing here in London. Darren. Potter reminds me of when Graham was in charge of Arsenal. He started with the defence, then the midfield, then so on. Let alone Potter hasn't got his own players yet. Once he does, we'll see us being a lot better. I do agree. Chris, you off to Dubai to bring back some King. It's all right. He can stay where he is. He can stay where he is. Frog, it was the making everything about himself that got up my note. Yep, okay, that's fair. Peter, we should have given Guilherme games for the under-21s instead of the odd 5 to 10 minutes or sat on the bench getting splinter. I kind of agree with that as well. Yeah, give him game time to keep him match fit. Yeah, fair play. All tackled up. Good afternoon. Top Hammers content, as always. Thank you very much, mate. Really, really appreciated. Ian, I'm done with some of the other channels. Thank you, mate. I really appreciate that as well. Schizo, how are you, mate? I hope you're well. Good evening. Greetings to you as well. I haven't seen you for a while. I hope all's good with you. Josh, it may not be ambitious, but I'd genuinely be happy if we can end the season with near to 0 goal difference in 12th place. After a couple of seasons getting battered, the players need to build confidence. That's a really good point. That's a really good point. If we can get our goal difference down to near enough 0, yeah, I agree with you there. That would be great ending the season, seeing how much of an improvement there's been. That's a really good point. I like that. Dallas. Rice has a lot to do with the counter-attack working. He does, I know, but we'll get ourselves with a new Declan Rice, won't we? Daniel. I felt we need to change midfield for this one. Here's thought. How about starting a striker, even if it's Ings? Well, you know, you may not have seen this earlier, mate, but my predictions are possibly that we'll go with a back 4 and possibly a 4-3-3. I get what you're saying about a striker, but I've talked about Ings. I don't even think will make the squad. If Fulkrug is fit enough and named on the bench, I think the 2 strikers on the bench will be Fulkrug and Ferguson, but I don't think either of them will start. And my front man will be Bowen with Paqueta and Goodison either side, possibly the same midfield 3. And the reason why I'm saying the same midfield 3 is because if Potter goes with a pack 4, he's going to need that security blanket by having more defensive-minded 3 in the middle, which means Emerson and Wan-Bissaka will be allowed to maraud forward, and then you'll have the likes of Alvarez dropping deeper, etc., to make a back 3 whilst our wing-backs maraud forward. Now, you can see there, I've suggested potentially, if we go with a back 4, that Emerson, for his experience, might be selected over Scholes. Not advocating that Scholes should be dropped, absolutely not. But I'm just thinking in terms of having that experience there, it's possible that Emerson may start ahead of Scholes. You could put Scholes there, of course, but I'd be a little bit worried. That's all. Not that Scholes is not good enough. Don't get me wrong, but I just think we need the experience. But if he stays with the back three, then you'll see Cress will stay in the team, Scholes still in the team, and then you take your pick as to what to do in terms of midfield and up front. But I got a feeling, and I've said this earlier, with Ferguson, he hasn't demonstrated to me that he should be starting a game yet. Who else we got? Jason, good afternoon, mate. I hope you're well. Better performance tomorrow, maybe Paqueta in the lineup and Evan Ferguson too. I've just explained that. I think we're away from home, so undoubtedly it's going to be a better performance, all tackled. Potter needs time. He wants to sort the defence side first. You can see that. Absolutely agree. We was being cut open all the time under Loppy and the same end of Moyes' era. I believe he'll come good for us. Totally and utterly agree with you on that, mate. I'm with you. Joey, a lot has been said, but I think what Lingard brought to the team is that he moved the ball quickly and decisively. We still need that badly. And I did a show about Somerville. Do look out for that. Do go and watch that if you can. I think Somerville's been a big loss for Potter. I think Potter, when you think about how he played Somerville in his one and only game under Potter, where he put him on the right-hand side and a lot was going through Somerville. Somerville, until he got his injury against Aston Villa in the FA Cup, was one of the better players on the pitch. And I think Potter in his mind was thinking, this is my Lingard, moving the ball forward, etc. And I think we've lost that. Unfortunately, Goodison is just not at the races at the moment. And what we're hoping for is Goodison can come good in the same sort of style. But I think he's missing Somerville a lot more than we all realise. Daniela, I think winning the cup final shocked Moyes as he didn't know what to do afterwards. So that is why I said he froze as a manager. That's a really good point. Yeah, what do I do next? I've done it now. What do I do next? Everyone is saying it. I don't know what to say, people, because I'm looking at my Wi-Fi and it's telling me that everything is all right. I've got a sign at the bottom and a sign at the top, and nothing is suggesting. I'm really sorry. The cats are all asleep. There's one here, one there, fast asleep. There you go. No freezing with issues there. Howard, turn your OnlyFans page off still. That should... Ian, you did briefly freeze at the start, but okay since. Good. Michael. Away days, all West Ham United fans, Soulless Bowl, too many tourists. But unfortunately, all home games now have got their fair share. We're not the only ones suffering from it. You've only got to go to the likes of Arsenal and Chelsea, etc., and you can see the same thing happening there. But the tickets for the Everton game tomorrow for West Ham fans they're like gold dust. And I'm really pleased that I've got a ticket for the game, but people have been begging for the tickets. Darren, Stell, will you be sending us a postcard? Absolutely not. Won't even be thinking about West Ham the whole week off. 2 up, 2 down. Good afternoon. I hope you're well. Looks like I've missed the show. I should go back at the end. Thank you for doing that. Hopefully I've explained some of it whilst you've been here. Peter, first there was the report that Somerville out for the season and possible start of next. On News Now, reporter Potter says back after the internationals. Go and look at my show. I encourage you, have a look at the back catalogue of the shows I've done. I've done one specifically on Somerville. I think I put it out on, it may have been Wednesday or yesterday. I lose track of time. So do look out for it and to explain what I believe is going on. Daniela, do you think Goodison was getting his head turned when the social media rumours of Arsenal, Liverpool interest, but nothing come of it? It's possible. It's quite possible, yeah. I think it happens to players, doesn't it? Not that we like it, but it happens. I've got to go because I'm running out of my lunch hour. Darren, I love this channel and the Bobby Moore stand as they don't hate with certain players, mate, like Suchek and Mavropanos. Thank you very much indeed. Chris, to be honest, still not 100% sold on Potter. Definitely an improvement on Lopetegui, but still not sure if our structure will suit him. Right manager, wrong club vibe. Just be patient. That's all I ask of fans. Just be patient. Don't forget, he's only got one player in the current squad that's his, and that is Evan Ferguson. He's inherited a whole squad. You've got to wait and see what he does this summer in the transfer window, who he keeps, who he lets go, who he brings in, etc. And then we can start judging him for what he does with his own squad. West Ham faithful can't see Bowen up against Tarkowski too small. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. But let's see how that goes. Peter, still, you make good decisions to make these lunch. Thank you. I might do it again. West Ham faithful, Darren Potter, agreed, and a couple of other channels. I think or also quite balanced. Lawrence, do you think Souček and Ward-Prowse in midfield is working well? Not necessarily. I don't think it's necessarily working well. I can see the logic in it, but it doesn't necessarily mean I think it's right. But no, we do lack pace in midfield. Anthony, I'm going to have to skip a few because I've really got to go. Goodison won't leave in the summer. Nobody will pay 85 million release clause. Pansel has told him to stay at West Ham. Chris, really hope we don't waste money on. But now it's looking like a bit of a good deal, isn't it? That we didn't put an obligation to buy. I'm not convinced on Ferguson, to be honest with you. Let's see what happens with him. I'm glad people are saying that this maybe, so it's not me then. Peter, wonder if might decide to go for a championship player instead of getting a striker, instead of getting one from abroad. I think it's going to be interesting. I think Macaulay is the sort of canny sort of scout, head of recruitment that's going to, I said this a few weeks back, Macaulay is going to come up with these players that we won't have heard of before. You know, this Peruvian striker, this Ecuadorian right back, this Mongolian centre midfielder, you know, that we will, and all the ITKs will go, oh, yeah, we knew about him. We just didn't want to say in advance. Shut up. Don't be silly. Daniel, Paqueta needs to start this game. Reckon he'll play out of his skin, especially with what's happening off the pitch. Absolutely agree. I think he will start this game. Definitely. Jason, gutted about Somerville. We desperately, as for the freezing, could be a YouTube issue. Could be a YouTube issue, yeah. Well, Somerville, it could be back. So watch that show that I did to have a better understanding of what's going on. Dallas, losing Somerville has been a huge blow. I agree. I think Potter had plans for him. And I think it's been, you know, I think he's disappointed. Amongst all the players that we've lost, I think Somerville offers us pace, a lot of pace. So I agree with you. It is a blow. If Fulkrug Peter gets any time on the pitch, he needs to be banned for trying to run. He needs to be banned from trying to run. Bonnie would, well, can you imagine him coming on and pulling his hammy yet again? Oh, dear. Bonnie, would love to go to an away game, but getting tickets like catch-22. You need points to get to away games, but you have to go to away games to get them. Yeah, I know. It's not easy, mate. Nigel, hello, mate. I hope you're well. Love this channel, mate. As fair, honest, and no nastiness. Thank you for always bringing the game to people like me who can't get to go. My pleasure, mate. Thank you so much for that. Jason, gutted. We said that one already. Josh, Goodison is an enigma to me for his physical strength, his passion and decision-making are genuinely terrible. It kind of undoes the good. I've said this quite a few times, to be really, really honest with you. It's got second, and I explained it in the terms of if you think about your most favorite band, most bands, they come out, you know, the one that you love, come out with a smashing, fantastic first album. And then the second album is like a bit, oh, dear. And then the third one comes up and go, oh, look, they're back to their best. And I think Goodison is a bit like that. I think he came in last season. It was an unknown entity. He hit the ground running. He smashed it in the Premier League. And I think this season, a lot of teams are finding him out, you know, stutting him out, two on him, etc. It's not gone well for him domestically, but also for Ghana as well. He's been caught up to the Ghanaian team, of course, today. And I think that's what's going on. And I think I want to keep him because I think next season, once he gets over this dark cloud of this season, I think next season you're going to see a Goodison that's going to be just like and even better than last season. That's why I want to keep him, you know, and I think that's what's going to happen with Goodison. Good evening, good afternoon, Epic. I hope you're well. Peter, are you using your neighbor? I don't know what's going on. Darren, so if Lopetegui is in charge of your wife, mate, that's why it's freezing. Frog, Goodison only seems fully turned up against teams wearing red shirts, and a lot of people have suggested that he's putting himself in the shop window. Chris, there's a few players who we should look to nick from Southampton and Ipswich. I know, I'm still writing that. I know I did do a thing. What have I done? I know I did do another show last week about players that we could be looking at getting in. I didn't include Delap in that, though. Who else have we got? I really need to run. I really need to get back to work. I'm getting down to the bottom now, so good. I will indeed enjoy my time in Tenerife, mate. Thank you for watching. Leon, much appreciated, mate. Jason, Hope you can get something to eat before. No chance of that now. Dallas, thanks so much. Much appreciated. Howard, much love to you. Thank you very much, mate. Brian, Stel, say something negative about West Ham and wrap this up like a boss. 3-1 win. All right. No, I'm not. No, I can't do it. Thank you all for watching, people. Really much appreciated. I've got to get back to work. 2-1 win for me tomorrow. Of course, I'll be doing a post-match review with Wiggy and others who are at the game. So watch out for that. And that'll be it. I won't have time to do any other shows because I'm off for a week. So I'll try and bring you something from Tenerife, like, look how sunny it is. How about that? Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. And I will see you all soon. Hit the like button, become a subscriber of the channel, and I'll see you all soon.